Morning guys, how you going? So tonight, hopefully, all things going good, I'm going to be working on that 25 Studebaker. So what I get done tonight, I don't really know. It'll probably be more just assessing and figuring out a few things and where to start, all those sorts of things, because it's a fairly major job. But basically, like I said in that first video when I went and had a quick look at it, I just told you briefly about it. Like all that sort of all the hard work, I guess. Not so much hard work, but all that structure work and all the metal work, all that sort of is sort of done. It's finishing and just making sure things fit properly, and a few tweaks, and probably got to build a few brackets to stiffen the body up and just stuff like that. And then obviously go through it and prep it and paint it, and got to go through the gearbox or transmission, and a few things like that. The disc, the motor, the motor's been done. It's just stuff like that. So hopefully tonight I'll get there. All things going good. And the plan is to go basically home, have tea, and then I'll shoot over there about 6 o'clock, because time's only 2 minutes away, and he's only 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes down the road in the car. So yeah, it'll be just pretty cool. So hopefully we go down there tonight and go do that. So yeah, I'll film what I can tonight, and yeah, we'll see you there. Cheers. Right. There you go, guys. So this is a 1925 Studebaker, obviously open top tour. A lot of this has been all done, like this is all new body work and metal work and everything, but unfortunately it's been sitting for quite a while, and it's never sort of been finished prep and all that sort of stuff. So basically I've got to go through it and start piecing it together, get things fitting properly, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, and just start piecing it together and get everything prepped and put together. Strip, eventually it'll be to strip it down and paint it and whatever. But yeah, I'll give you a quick walk around. Right, so this is her. So I've just apparently it's all here. Bonnet, back guards. So unfortunately, I'm not sure when it was done, but it was done quite a few years ago. Got to this sort of stage, you know what I mean? Like, so it's all new metal work, and the back, back doors all new. That's all been rebuilt around the back, all new woodwork, all that sort of stuff. But it just needs a lot of work to clean it back up and bring it back to right and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously just test fitting everything. Like this chill tank and steering box and all that sort of stuff all needs put back together, cleaned up. Like there's a grill shelf for it. He's got the radiator and everything away, being checked and repaired. There's another one over there. We've got to get some brackets off. We're just having a quick yarn and bits and pieces. I like the door, this back door won't open because it just doesn't clear properly and all that sort of bits and pieces. So I'm just going to go through tonight and just sort of piece things together. We'll see if I can piece some of it together, so I get a bit more of an idea in my head how it's fitting together, what needs to be done sort of first, if you know what I mean. But I'll pretty much be either start at the front and move back, or start at the back and move forwards. But yeah, but it's all here, so that's the main thing. It's all like soft top and all that sort of stuff. There's all these little handmade trim pieces that are all being made off, which I'm not sure. I think that's probably off the top of the door or something like that. All this sort of stuff's all being made. So I'm not going to have to turn around and make it, but it just needs finished and fitted and all those sorts of things before paint and body work. Obviously, everything needs to be fitted and make sure it fits properly. Door handles need to be fitted and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, be a fun project over the next months, weeks, whatever. It's a big job. You got to start from sort of almost scratch, but not quite. Anyway, I'll set the camera up and I'll see what I can get done tonight for the next couple of hours or couple of 3 hours. There's a lot of clean up to go from this workshop yet still, but it is what it is. It'll eventually get tidied up over the next week or two. But right, I'm back at home. I would have stayed there longer, but I've got something I'm going to need to try and fix for that car, that Studebaker. Because what we're trying to do, as I explained in the early bit, we're trying to sort of piece things together. We need some bolts and bits and pieces to finish bolting the back guards, and I've found 2 or 3 bolts that I've sort of started bolting things together and been sort of looking around at stuff. But he's got the radiator and been repaired, or gone through and checked and repaired and whatever. But it's missing the bracketry off the sides. But he's got 2 or 3 other radios there, so we managed to pull some bits off one. All he did was bugging around with guards and stuff. But one side, whatever way this goes up, this is one of the side brackets that bolts it on. This is a good straight one, but this is all rotten. These brackets are rotten. And this one's not quite so straight, but this bit isn't rotten, but it's a little bit bent, and then this needs repaired, and that needs repaired. So I'm going to try and make one out of 2. I just haven't quite decided what I'm going to do here yet. But I don't think cutting it through here and welding that onto there is a very good idea, because it's a bad place for tea. So my other thought was to try and straighten this piece out, because it's meant to be square, like either end we are. You can see that one there's quite square, that one there's bent. I might try and straighten this out and do a couple of small repairs in here, weld it up and whatever, and clean it up and grind it up, and then cut this through here where I can get a lot stronger weld and junk this piece and use this end to repair it to try and make one good one. So that's the plan. Just having a look, just make sure. So basically, say this guy can. We just unsweated these off those radiators, but you will need to make 1 out of 2. So that's my mission for another hour or so tonight. Try and get this together and done. So I'll get to it. Might set the phone up on the other tripod though first. Righty guys, so I might call it here tonight. It's getting latish now. I'll tack that again tomorrow night. I'll finish this off before I go back there tomorrow night. Obviously, the man know that I'll finish this off when I get home, and once I've got it finished up and cleaned up, I'll shoot around there so you can drop it off to get the radiator repaired. So I've welded all that up, straightened it up. Definitely a lot squarer than it was. So it's taken me about an hour, well, not quite an hour, to straighten it out and fix that piece. So all I do is cut that end off, ugly end off now, and put that other end on. So I'll overlap them, cut that off, and then you cut that one off and just and weld it on, and just make sure it's the right length. As long as I cut it off, I think if I cut it off at the same time, or thereabouts, it'll be all good. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Right, so back at it, guys. I'm just got home from work, so I'm just having a quick look at this. So as I said, we're going to cut the end off this to get rid of all this doggy stuff, and I put this end on here, on this one. So yeah, I straightened all that out last night, welded all those splits up, that sort of stuff, and yeah, squared it up and everything. So hopefully it's about right. You know, if it needs another little tweak with a hammer or something like that, it's no biggie. But yeah, it's a lot safer to do this, repair this one and attach this end on it, than trying to cut these bits off and weld them on here. It's not strong enough. Whereas this is quite a good strong place to join it. Whereas that's like very susceptible to be broken off again, unless you cut it through here, and then it's also not ideal to be welding along that piece. So yeah, like you could have probably, you know, cut it through there and weld it in there so you actually got a decent sort of position to weld in, but we'll just cut the end off it and join her on. So I'll get that done shortly. I've got that all ready to weld up there. Plenty of magnets holding it in place, so it should be nice and square and back where it used to be. But on the other thing, Done. Back on there. So I'll head round to where the car is now. Right, where I got to last night, I've put 2 or 3 bolts on each one of these guards, but I didn't have enough bolts. And then I want to get, God, this son's a pain in it. No, I've got 2 or 3 here, but I want to get this 8-piece bolted in and all the bolts done up nice and tight, and then we'll work out, mark these holes where to drill them. And these inner, what do you want to call that? Apron. It's not really a rocker, it's an apron. So yeah, we've got to do all that and sort that out. Well, start sorting that out tonight, I suppose, and marking it and whatever, and whether we get it drilled in there or not, I'm not sure. Got some holes to drill through into here. I guess they, well, I'm not 100% sure, but they're in there somewhere. Whether they're right up in the end, I'm not sure. Oh, you can get in behind there. So you got to work all that out. But need stuff fitting properly first. Anyway, we'll get to it. I've got some bolts here for me. Excellent. Some stuff bolted together. Alrighty, so I got some of this bolted up now. I'm just going to finish bolting up these guards tight. So you're going to have to drill holes through these, like I said before, and work that out. So now, once I get everything sort of pulled up tight here, I'll mark those, or find a marker or something, so I can mark them. I should have grabbed one from home, but he might have one. But yeah, get all these done up tight now. Now I've got all this back bits done tight. Not 100% happy with how that sits, but it's one of those things because it sits quite nice here. But it's not great there, but we'll see how it goes once we sort of get everything together and try and get everything all squared up. And that's the big thing, we need to bolt it all together. Especially, just probably don't need everything, but all the main body bits. You know, the grille and the bonnet and hood and, you know, all that sort of stuff, get it all bolted together, and probably, you know, like, doesn't matter about seats and steering wheel and all that sort of stuff, but all the major body components, so at least then we can strip it down and clean it up and get it all prepped for paint and get everything all lined up, so at least you know it works and closes and opens and shuts, and you can worry about the clean up later. Put these last few bolts up, I'm going to figure out what I'm looking at next. quite handy for me too, because I can remind myself of things. So you need to, hopefully we know another person that's unfortunately not that close, that's got one of these. A very, very similar year, not 100% sure whether it's the same model or not. My dad would know, but because we want to look at things, because there's some braces that are sort of stabilised down into here, a bit like a bit like these things, but they actually go down into the down into this wood structure, or down into the underneath, into the body, into the frame chassis, to try and stop all this movement, because this is quite a bit of movement here yet still, so we'll work a lot of that sort of stuff out. But possibly when I start bolting this stuff up, that'll help. But I'm not sure about this gap, whether it's meant to be like that, or whether they had like a little packer in there, or whether the body's just not right. There's lots of little things like that. There's gaps like this that aren't really here in this one. So I don't know whether this isn't quite right shape, or this has been bent, or whether we need to cut this and add a bit of steel and make it right. Like cut this down here, bring it out, and then just add a little bit of steel in there and make that look right. There's lots of little things like that that need a bit of work on. Yes, there's a gap down there too. So it possibly needs, I don't know, just even a bit of timber or something like that, because that's sort of the thing they would have used. They would have put a bit of timber in there and painted it and put in there, like these some of the things I need to sort of find out what they sort of used, because unfortunately I don't know enough about some of these things. Right, thought I was recording there, but it wasn't. Anyway, so this is the front door striker. He's got spares of these, because this here, this vehicle had been cut down into a truck at some point. Obviously they just ripped the back of the body off and put a bed on it, when probably 40s or 50s or something like that, and just used as a farm truck way back then, maybe even in the probably heading in towards the 40s, I guess, back in the before the World War One or something like that. Oh, sorry, not before World War Two. This was made after World War One. So like all this back body stuff was sort of lost, and it's been recreated. But anyway, so yeah, like this here is still the same position. Okay. Get the camera again. So like, there's meant to be this catch in here, but I can see where the bodywork's meant to be, where that's meant to be, and it lines up with this. So we've got spares of these, none of the back ones. So we're going to whack this off through here somewhere, and then shape it and modify it to fit in here, and then it'll be spot on. And it's just a matter of screwing it on or whatever, making that all fit. So hopefully we'll be able to catch this bottom hole, sort of just catch that. It'd be nice if we can catch that. Then we've got 3 points. It might be tight, but yeah, it'd be nice if we can sort of catch that and screw that into here somewhere, even if we have to, shave a little bit off this to make this fit in there so we can catch that bit. So either that, we're going to have to, there's no guts behind there, like there's a nice boss there, so it'd be nice to catch that and not the not have to draw a hole through here, if you know what I mean. Then it looks queer, Because then like, if we can shape that and make that look nice, it'll look like it should have been. So yeah, it's going to be really close. Could possibly, yeah, could possibly put some, if worst comes to worst, possibly could put some of that JB weld, fill that full of JB weld, I suppose. And really clean that up, put some JB weld in there when you cut it off and reshape it and then tap and drill it. It might be enough to look stock and hopefully it holds. But I think we'll be right with yeah, we're borderline, you know. We'll just, because it's going to be sort of through here, so it'll be nice to just cut that off and make that look. So it'll be right down in here, I think. Yeah. So it's going to be really close. It's going to be right so down here. Just maybe nick that off to get a decent thing, so I don't have to chop that off. So that'll work. They'll work good. Just lots of little pieces like that to be done. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt because he's not really organised here yet. We're sort of just puddling around until we get a bit more stuff in here. He's got to get a compressor and he's going to get a blasting cabinet so he can sandblast a lot of these bits ourselves and puddle around. But he really needs to get sort of sorted out here and get tools organised and bits and pieces, because he's sort of just, he's got all his tools in the back of the truck. He's got a lot of pad tools and bits and pieces and, you know, chainsaws and all that sort of stuff. But you can't really use a chainsaw in this. Well, you could try, but it wouldn't look very good afterwards. But anyway, so that's sort of where we're at the moment. So I've been trying to get this body together. So we can work out a lot of this sort of stuff, you know, gaps, and work out what are we going to do to fix these, or whether the, you know, that body welting is going to hide the worst of it. But anyway, this is lots of, just needs a bit of bracing here and there. Probably by the time you bolt, by the time you actually bolt that guard down there, the body's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger by the time you bolt it all together. Might just need a little bit of bracing down here somewhere just to help tie it together, because it'll be all hidden behind the upholstery and all that sort of stuff. Now you got a whole back seat and everything down here, but by the time you put a back seat in here, you know, that's your foot space. These things had huge foot space in the back, so hopefully one day, you know, this is quite good experience, because this is going to be, it's a little bit older than what the Plymouth is that I've got, and it's a, you know, hard top that's certainly in the States for me, but it's good ideas, you know, to work things out, how some of these things work, even though I'm going to rat rod it, or rat rod, hot rod of some description. Anyway, I'll start cracking on. There's probably not a lot more I can do tonight, because I sort of need I need bits and pieces and tools and stuff. But anyway, I should quickly show this stuff here to you from this radiator and bits and pieces. So that's the bit that I've fixed and repaired. So it looks like, you know, basically a new one. That's the one for the other side, I think it is. So you've got to clean these up. These are old, or other old radiators. He's got a run that's obviously in fairly good condition at the shop, but yeah, the guy needs these to put back on it, so we had to make some and repair some. You know, so they go back on, they go back on like this, and they'll be obviously, you know, soldered on like these would be. Well, there's a couple of brackets to go up the top. So there's all those sorts of things to be done. But yeah, that's the start of it, I think. See, this is part of the old original inner front post, sort of between the front seat and the back seat. So, you know, that's what was in it originally. You know, that's probably the stuff from 1925. But yeah. So they're just bolted and screwed together, and the coach bolts through things to hold braces. You know, It's amazing how they built them way back. So they've got lots of power tools and bits and pieces, but it's just, you've got a pillar drill, an anvil down there, all sorts of stuff. But it's not organised. This is out of an old school. That's one thing, that's something I can remember from as a kid. It could have come from one of the schools I went to, because it reminds me of one. But yeah, so like there's this anvil down here. It's been pretty beaten up, but man, that's handy. That's awesome having that. There's a really good pillar drill there. Drill press, bench grinder. It's all sorts of stuff here, but it's not organised. So it's a bit of a pain. I think he's got welder here somewhere. There's a body of something else that he's thinking about maybe building into a rat rod or something, I don't know. He's talking about doing something with that at some point, but that's probably after I've gone. Unless I still happen to be here in a year or two. Hope not. But there's another body of something over there too. So yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it here for night, I think. I haven't really got any more to sort of show you and do. It's just tool bits and pieces, sort out some drills. Actually, I might have a look and see if there's drills, but I really need something to mark these properly so I can mark those holes and start drilling stuff, and then work out what we're doing here. Obviously, it needs to make up some packers, because they would have been just timber and they just paint them. 3 or 4 layers of paint, primer and all that sort of shit over top, and then it's all trimmed and whatever afterwards, and like it would have never rotted. It would take 1,000,000 years to rot out if it's sitting in a shed, in and out of the weather, and it just comes out occasionally and does whatever it does, But I'll leave it there. What do you guys?